welcome, and we wanted to say, first off, a very happy and loving and beautiful, successful, every year we're changing with the Truth and Reconciliation Day for the First Peoples, First Nations, Aboriginals, Natives, all of the definitions and how they want to be offered in their communities and in their experiences and expressions of who they are. The First Nations peoples, the First Peoples, I call them the First Peoples because they have been the very first beings of how we've learned our shamanism and our movement about the lands. And yesterday was Truth and Reconciliation Day for, I believe, North America, because a lot of the energies of the tribal nations takeovers happened a lot from the lower south and all the way up to the north, up into Canada. So it was an experience that affected all of us, and many of the tragedies and discrimination travesties that have occurred in Canada have been bled from European and all the way up from the US and then up into Canada. And they're just behaviors and they're just beliefs that of power and domination, all stemming from the vibrations of fear. And so on any one aspect of who we are in humanity, they're either fear due to the separation from source, or the unity and culmination of oneness. And so it's up to each and every person to be responsible for their core vibration, to be responsible for what they choose to believe in every now moment. The beliefs and the perspectives that you hold are so very powerful for creating the new intentional direction and the focus of your reality. How you manifest a reality is through intention, direction, and focus. And so if your intention, direction, and focus is all of the karmic energies that are spawned from fear, separation, domination, and control, then that will be the reality that you will create. Or if you're looking to neutralize and choose from your divine sacred heart, which has also been called mindfulness in some of the awakened communities, and being mindful that you're starting every new moment on this now spiral of ascension, on this now spiral of co-creating your reality, and every new moment of now then creates, every new moment of now then creates, every new moment of now then creates. And why it's so pivotal for us to pay attention to the chakras, because the chakras is where the energy and the information is spun from. So if you can imagine in the chakra systems, this is how wounds are manifested out to the reality. It's very purposeful. So in the chakra systems, as your body is spiraling out energy, if there's blockages, like this is a purely healed chakra system where it's all very transparent, it's all very bright and crystalline. But that's not how most people look and operate on the planet. These are just perfections of what it can be when it's perfectedly, healed. This is what the chakra system does look like in its healing. It comes with mudras and sacred geometry, every chakra. But as the chakras spin in discs like this, if there are blockages and if there are woundings, we always start with the lower vibrational ones, because usually people heal from the lower vibrational up. So all of your wounds that are being brought forward are the most detrimental, are brought from the lower chakras. So as you're standing in everyday life, your chakras spin in a spiral like this, and they're discs. And any one of these chakras, if we take the lower three chakras first, any one of your chakras that is producing a wounding, as far as safety, or your inability to create, or creative blocks or anything like that, the lower two chakras, or sexual dysfunction or sexual molestation or any injuries in those lower two chakras, it spirals like this and it sends a pulsation out to the universe. It sends a pulsation out to the universe. And so in those pulsations, you're manifesting, because you meant to, you know that you're a manifester, you're a creator God. You're sending these pulsations out into the universe. You're sending the pulsations out into the universe. Any one of your pulsations, whether it be no sense of self, abandonment, rejection, all of these threads of energy are sent out to the universe from the wounding, because that's your belief you have about yourself, or a perspective, or an unhealed wound. So if you're not doing the work, and if you're not clearing those energies and reintegrating them, then all of these pulsations are being sent from your body of energy, because you're a magnetic being. You are a magnetic force in the existence of the magnetic force of the all. So as within, so without, and as above, so below. You're manifesting this reality from all of your pulsations of your emanations from within and from without. So all that you are is producing those magnetic pulsations that go out to your reality. Therefore, the outer will always show you back what it is within the wounding. And of course, various celestial beings have different emanations and pulsations because their chemical makeup, their integration, their DNA is all different. Everybody emits a different pulsation. And you can just tell by what is in front of them and what's coming before them. So those emanations from the holographic reality, whatever is a wounding that's sitting within one of your chakras is going to show it back to you in the reality. It'll come back to you as a manifestation of physical experience. And it can also be, you just getting in an accident. It can be also those manifestations that you take upon yourself where there's no other outer person. But most often than not, if you're projecting these little pulsations and you can see the little points, right? So if every one of these little points is what you're manifesting in your reality, that could be rejection, abandonment, no sense of self, insecurity, all of these little things are the energies coming back from the holographic reality showing you. And all of those aspects showing you who it is in front of you. And they could be a soul tribe that's showing you insecurity. It could be a soul tribe that's showing you they have a fear of abandonment. They're just projecting to you that fear of abandonment that you also have in your chakra systems, and why sometimes you connect with each other to be that gentleness and softness for each other, to heal it, to be that mirrored reflection, to heal those experiences. So everything that is being sent out from you, you're responsible for your chakras, you're responsible for the energy you emit, you're responsible for your electromagnetic experience, your multidimensional fields. These are all unseen for the time being. When we get to 5D, people will be able to see all of the emanations that are sent out. We will be aspects of oneness. So there's going to be no hiding, there's going to be no secret. When you live in lies, all of these pulsations will be very warped and they'll be very dark. So when a healer is able to see what's going on in somebody's field, you can see what emanations they're sending out, what their core vibration is, and what energies of beliefs and perspectives that they hold within themselves about themselves. Because everything within reality is about who are you, what you exist about, and what's going on within you. So all of your beliefs and your perspectives are wrapped around this. If you've been brought up in environments, because there's 8 billion people on the planet, and 8 billion people have been brought up in different lineages, Akashic energies, Akashic timelines, Akashic experiences, galactic experiences, all of these things from your ancestral experiences, your dogmatic, your social experiences, all of these things you are brought up in this now moment, and then begin to make up who you are. But we're not taught from the earliest of age that all that we are begins from within first. But when you're younger, you're meant to believe that everything you are becoming is a product, if you will, of the outer becoming inner, and that's wrong. We are the light from within affecting the outer. We are the light within affecting the outer, but we haven't been taught higher light wisdom intelligence, which is what I teach, is what I offer, and why my platform is still at 0. YouTube has been being paid and being paid to silence me, because this is the information that we need to become 5D experiences of light, to become a 5D version of an advanced human. And so I was the advanced human that was taken on. Those were sources' words, not mine, because I taught these other things in the Pleiades. I've taught these things to the children in the Pleiades, as to understand the chakra systems, why it's so important to face the healing that's being brought forward by the chakra systems, to face the very densities and woundings, because as you do, you get to have that chakra lighten up, you get to have that chakra become more clear and transparent, and when it does, it then, what does that do? It then allows for light to get in and activate the codons, and as it activates the codons, it's offering you and gifting you the gifts, skills, talents, and abilities of all that you are from those realms and those integrations that you're healing and now bringing in and making whole. And so we have to understand that in any moment, in any given moment of your reality, it's either going to be a negative, you can neutralize it, or it's going to be a positive co-creation. And whatever's going on, your next spiral of ascension, it's always now. Your choosing of now comes in that next spiral. Your choosing of now brings in that next spiral. Your choosing of now brings in that next spiral. Now, if you're choosing from a wounded space, that next spiral will be that wounded opportunity. Therefore, you can look at it again, however many times you need to say, maybe I should quit smoking. It's not doing very good for my health because I had this manifest, that manifest, that manifest. Or maybe I should quit that other addiction because of this, this, and this. You get to show yourself and do the infinity. Well, if I keep going on this karmic pattern, this is going to be the timeline that you will manifest. You cannot manifest a higher vibrational timeline by doing and staying in karmic energy. And everybody is now seeing this. The world leaders are now seeing this. You cannot merely just speak do as I say and not as I do. You actually have to, it matters how you play. You have to follow up by acting and behaving in the alignment of who you are as a vibration, because it's palpable. People can actually see the vibration of who you are now. People can actually see through the light that is in the surrounding omnipresence what is actually truth and what is actually lies. And we can see now, we can see stories that are being, given to us in the social collective, or stories that are given to us in those in our communities, what is truth and what is lies. Because we can read the energy that's just basically, am I speaking as I am? Am I acting as I am? Am I following up with integrity? Am I following up with morals? Am I following up with an alignment of who I am? All of this is about energetic vibrational alignment. You can't fool energy. Energy cannot be fooled. There are those, the witches and warlocks from those that I've come from and from the Calgary cult, and they were great teachers for me to learn and dive deeper into my knowledge and my wisdoms of light intelligence. They can do cloaking and they can do veiling and they can do borrowing of people's energy and they can do all of these things in the trickery that they do. And they've done all the trickeries and all the rituals that anybody could ever do. They've done all of the illegal steps in the spiritual realms. They've done all the illegal steps in the dream realm. They've done all the illegal steps in the etheric realm. They've done all the illegal steps in the physical realm. These people have done all of the illegal steps to get in and burrow and harvest and bond and bind into those around them, into their chakra systems, into their energy systems, because they know that when they do so, they manifest, and they manifest whatever it is that they want. So when they're using other people's energies that is higher in light, they get to stay in their optimum experience and they get to manifest and use other people's light because their chakra systems are closed and dark. They're refusing to heal. They're refusing to look at who they are. They're refusing to look at the subconscious. They're refusing to look at their wounds. They're refusing to clear and cleanse their chakra systems. So they then manipulate and they go in through the dark empath, through the dark occult experiences, to the dark occult, black shadow, black magic, whatever it is you want to call it, voodooism, whatever you want to call the dark occultisms. They have done everything in their power to take from others so that they can maintain their sustenance of living, even their bodies of life. Their physical bodies are sustaining off of other people's energy. And that is called soul harvesting. There are those in the elite categories of the planet, which we've been talking about. I've been the first one to talk about it. About 2 years now, we've been talking about elite soul harvesting. That is the term that Source Creator downloaded to me. Elite soul harvesting, along with the mind scraping that Source Creator gave to me. And those are all my downloads, so go back to my videos if you want further questions and answers on that. Go and listen to it. And the elite soul harvesting is not understanding the multidimensional systems that you exist within. It's not understanding what you're putting out is coming back to you as vibrational magnetic pulsations from your inner belief about who you are, what you exist within, and what's going on within you, how it's activating or not activating the codons within your DNA and activating your divine soul's blueprint. They're not understanding any of this, and so the elite entertainers and the elite people that have done certain contracts with certain deities and certain underground, underworld versions of Source, like Satan and Lucifer, and all of the underground versions of deities, they've made contracts with these deities to take the shortcut to find themselves the way in front of people, to feel as a false sense of security, to give them attention, to give them false sense of love, to give them false sense of security, to give them false sense of belonging, to give them false sense of whatever it is they're looking for. Because again, those are all woundings. And so when we do things in the false representation of who we are, without even going within and saying, well, what is my divine soul blueprint? It might not even be to be on stage. It might be to, cook really great meals for a community soup kitchen. And that might be where your greatest soul's nourishment is. If you're not going within and looking at your divine soul's blueprint, which is designed by you and Source at the very highest levels of creation, in this one universe, it's 13 dimensions, and all of your soul families, all of your soul tribes are gifting you the pure design of your soul's blueprint. If you're not doing that inner work of your blueprint first, then all you're doing is just thinking that, well, because to be famous and to be seen and to be recognized in this society, you've got to be a star, you've got to be you've got to be on TV, or you've got to be seen somewhere, like whatever the ideologies are, beliefs or perspectives, that your importance is getting on stage and being seen by the all, or having so many tweets, or having so many, whatever those ideals are and those beliefs are, those perspectives are. It has nothing to do with your soul's blueprint. And if you're meant to be in front of people, make no mistake, Source Creator, God, your teams, your higher self will make sure that everything will be moved out of the way and you will be seen. If that's in your soul's blueprint. But you need to surrender first and go back within to say, well, your ego is the one that's wanting you to be on stage. Your ego is the one that's wanting to be seen. Your ego is the one that's wanting to be the best in the community. Your ego is the one that's saying, well, I'm going to do everything to bring down my ex or my partner or my this or my that because I want them to be less than me and I want to win over them. Whatever those warped idealisms are, they are the woundings of what's going on within you that we've been talking about. Do the inner work. Look at the soul fragments, because it's nobody outside of you. They are the projections of you going out to the hologram, coming back to you in the version of something physical. So what is that? Abandonment, fear of abandonment, rejection, fear of rejection, no sense of self. Who am I? What do I belong within? Who am I? Do I make the rules or does somebody else make the rules? Do I follow the rules of dogma, church and state and societies that are not looking after the people, that are not caring about healing the people, that don't even talk about healing the people? Is there any discussion out there at all about how to properly direct and guide in these times of profound earthly, planetary, galactic, universal change? And how do we go about in the highest intelligence? That has nothing to do with making a profit. Because it is, as we said, why you do what you do and how you do what you do will end up where you're going. That's the earth you're going to be on. Because if you're doing it to get famous, if you're doing it to have your 5 minutes of fame, if you're doing it to have gluttony and power and force over the other or break somebody's neck, or just to have yourself being the winner, you will never be the winner by these ego energies, by these devil energies. And we say devil energies because all they're doing is just feeding all of the negative side of the infinity. Because everything is only 3 things. It is either positive and loving and uplifting, it is either neutral, or it is either the karmic side. The soul is going to continue its lessons and you will continue to keep manifesting karmic realities. This is the energy of your direction, your intention, and your focus. All of this is focusing now a timeline that must jet out and separate from everything else that is now being more neutralized or being in the higher vibration. Because these energies cannot coexist together. There's too much of a variance, a dissonance, and there will be a split off. The Epstein energies and the Epstein earth and the Epstein corruptions will be split off, and they will go into the lower operating universe, which we've talked about. It will go into the lower operating universe, right? This is us right here. All of these lower vibrational Epstein energies will go off into the lower operating universe. This one, it's just put off in the aside so you can see it because it's not a multidimensional diagram here. So these are always constantly spinning within each other, and it's up to Source that when you release something and let it go, Source is responsible for pulling the lowest vibrational timelines out, and those souls that have chosen not to ascend, those souls have chosen not to do the work and not have keep the bare minimum of the base median of the planetary basal oscillation. We have to be in alignment with the basal oscillation. Our bodies have to be at minimum. So if we're not keeping up with the light, we cannot stay here. These timelines at the very bottom will then be released and put to the lower vibrating universe, and it will have its entropy time. And eventually that Epstein Earth will go into extinction, and it will just disintegrate because it cannot survive without the light. Unless there is the caveat, and that's up to Source, because I don't care to know about that. That's all Source, that's all God. Unless that lower operating universe decides to slowly ascend itself and move itself into light of the lower operating universe. And that's always an option as well. But that's between the people on that earth that choose to wake up. And there will be certain people that will choose to stay on that earth to awaken those at the very last second and then be shifted over to the middle universe. There's always that Jacob's ladder, always. We've had a very grand misunderstanding about, our planet has been arisen in from the very beginning of time as sacred texts which were made into religions. And once it was made into religions, there were very pockets of beliefs and separations and segregations and departmentalizations of how God was and what God was and who we were to God. Then it was just allowing us to have the rules of how we operate in a society on land. And then as we mature and as we become more intelligent, we're now seeing that, things are a little bit more grand than we ever thought. We're now knowing that we're becoming more quantum than we ever were, that actually how we think and how we speak and what we believe in is actually manifesting in a reality. So what if it's more than that? What if we are godly? And what if we do integrate and we harmonize more of spirit in our life every day? What if we now integrate the oneness factor? What if we integrate now the unity factor? What if we integrate the love factor? How does that change the pulsations I'm sending out into the universe? How does that change if I'm going to unify that rejection issue? I'm going to heal that rejection issue. What is my now return? Because you're now sending out a positive higher vibration to the hologram. That hologram is now going to send it back to you. That's why it's called the micro and the macro. Everything that you are in electromagnetic pulsation, because you are an electric magnetic pulsation. This pulsation just sends out magnetics every minute, every second. Every breath sends out a magnetic. It's then shown to you. You then have the opportunity to neutralize anything that is before you, to breathe and ground, and then send out that new positive behavior, that new positive belief, that new positive perspective to that new hologram. That's how you manifest a higher vibrating reality. You have to be the vibration first. And every channel on the planet will say the same thing. You have to be the vibration first. That vibration first sends out a new electromagnetic pulse, a new electromagnetic pulse, a new electromagnetic pulse. I am that I am. I am that I am. I am that I am. And that sends out a powerful return. This is the mathematics of the quantum reality. This is God. You are becoming godly. You can still go into a church and practice a version of God from a book of God from somebody that speaks about God. That doesn't get you any closer to knowing the quantum magnetics and the science and the beauty of God manifesting through you, as you. In, of, as spirit. I am in spirit. I am of spirit. I am as spirit. In the image of. That's what that means quantumly. That's what that means. I am in spirit. I am of spirit. I am as spirit. That is, I am made in the image of the Divine Mother, the Divine Father. You have to have those experiences. And as you're doing your healing, you're bringing all of those integrations in to be harmonized as one. As you are harmonized as one, you send out a new electromagnetic experience. It's now balanced. It's not warped and distorted in divine masculine belief systems of what power is. Oh, I must dominate and I must take over a divine feminine. I must dominate her. I must break her soul so that she bends to me and she bows to me. These are very warped, distorted beliefs. You will always be on the lower earth. And that's fine. Go be on the lower earth. But you can't force people to come with you. The forcing and the enslavement and the making and the debauchery is no longer. And that's why those of us that can see the ins and outs, the conduits, we can see vibrational threads, we can see vibrational stories. These are the downloads that we've been given by Source because we know what it's like to be aligned by Source, because when we're aligned by Source, we get downloads, we get information, we remember who we are. I put a beautiful story on the YouTube last night, and then I'm going to get to my Sirius channel. It's not very serious at all. It's really fun. I put a beautiful download on my channel last night about this little boy who has been the reincarnation of John Lennon. And so stories like this are exactly the same as what I've talked about in my past videos about the soul integration that I did of that Arcturian being in the 1950s and being in the Area 51 when the Eisenhower administration was. And so that's an exact story. The children nowadays, that's a soul integration story. That's showing you that that child and that soul had done the soul integration so that when it comes back into a body, it's just going to pick up where it left off. It gets all of those informations and it can speak as its little body in this new version of itself. It can speak of its last lifetime as being John Lennon. And it can give proof and it can give validation. But everybody in this now reality says, well, they're still questioning, they're still not understanding the soul and its progress of evolution. This is what our channel has been about since day one. It's the soul's process of evolution. You have infinite number of fragments. Those infinite number of fragments are just healing itself so that you can continue your eternal life with Source. It's the exact same story that I told. I healed that soul fragment from the 1950s. It's now coming into me now, and I get to pick up where I left off. I get those gifts and skills from that Arcturian life. That little boy got the gifts and skills. That's why his parents were showing and telling people, wow, he's come up with these melodies and he's coming up with this music that we've never heard. Like, how could this little tiny body come up with this music? He's just picking up where he left off. That's called the today's genius of the new Earth star genius. That's what I've been talking about. So now these little bits and pieces of story, of these true human stories, these true human spirit stories, where he's harmonized with his soul. He's harmonized with the spirit of that John Lennon. That was just a character he played. Now he's in a new character. He wants to be a new starseed in the new character, but he's picking up the energies of that soul's lifetime. And now he's proving to everybody, well, maybe we're more than we thought. Maybe the realities are a bit more malleable. Maybe Source Creator is a bit more than we thought in our perspectives. Spirit is always enduring. It's always infinite. However, your consciousness must be earned. To go to that next level in this now reality, because we are moving into a fifth dimensional level, that consciousness must be earned. It must be stretched. So you must work your way through 4 and 5D. That child is already preparing itself for 5D. That child is already saying, no, I'm an integrated soul. I'm showing you. This is who I used to be. It's still in this timeline because the parents remember John Lennon. So the parents are saying, well, how can that be because you're a child? But the parents are not putting together multidimensionality. That John Lennon spirit and the soul had done the work as it had passed on and it was waiting to come back into a new body. It just picked up the soul and those spirits of John Lennon. Now it's coming back into a new body. It's not John Lennon per se. It's the oversoul of John Lennon. It's just remembering the bits and pieces from the John Lennon body that it had. Now it's just taking up a new body and the soul is continuing. This is what we talk about on our show. It's about the multidimensionality, how fluid and malleable spirit is. It's eternal. It's not going to be eternal, though, if you just keep working yourself into a demented conjuring of forcing negativity and forcing this and forcing that, and it will be pulled out and it will go into that entropy Epstein experience and it will go into extinction. Because the soul needs light to continue. Life needs light to continue. The planet needs light to continue. Your Christ consciousness needs light to continue. And any and all of those on the planet that are still continuing, control agendas, brainwashing agendas, mind control agendas, the infinite ways that humans have been degraded and humans have been experimented on. I mean, there's so many different agendas that have gone on. We're just going to talk about North America because to talk about the entire world is going to be overwhelming. Just in North America, if you go back and do your research, which we will be doing, the whole histories of how humans have been tested on. Since the beginning of time, we will pull up and we will do research on how humans have been manipulated and how has it affected the multidimensional bodies. We need to understand where we've been. We need to understand how it's affected the DNA every single time we incarnate into a new generation. That boy and that boy's story is showing you that his DNA is just picking up and his DNA is at a higher level than John Lennon's ever was. That's why he's able to continue higher vibrational, probably melodies and music. So his music will have amplified quite a bit because now he's in a starseed body. And he's not going to be held back by the beliefs and the restrictions and the limitations as John Lennon was. So there is a progression of the soul. This is just showing you soul progression. What reincarnation really is. It's just eternal life. You're just picking up a different body. And then there's infinite Earths where other aspects of John Lennon are still alive and still working well. So too is that little boy. It's just depending on the vibration you're looking at in the now moment. And you've aligned to this vibration to see that story. So somehow, some way it has an alignment with you because you're ready to open up and look at, okay, well, how infinite am I? Is God always working within me? Yes. It's not just when you're in a church listening to somebody read a page from the Bible. That's not godly. It's a part of God. It's a script of God. It's a scripture of God, but that's not all that God is. God is all things. God is all aspects of everybody that's ever had a soul incarnation. It has to be. God is. All of these aspects are points. All of these are the experiences of your electromagnetic field sending out pulsations. Is going to send you a reflection back. Wherever you're vibrating in that moment, that's going to be your reflection. So it's up to you to work on your vibration, your core vibration. Are you harmonizing and are you unifying everything that is in front of you? Harmonize it all. It's all you. Fear nothing. That's walking as a master. Fear nothing. And so as we say that, I had a beautiful post this morning. So please go back and read my posts. They are cumulative. So they're cumulative. They're working on the energy of each other and it's helping you keep up to date with the now moment. And anybody that wants, I've got 3 books that I've written. This is just the various editions of my first book that I wrote. It's quite chunky to read through and it's quite advanced and there's lots of codes in my books. They can find them on Barnes and Noble as well as Amazon has my books. I do have to go and fix all of the stuff on my books once I get all my resources sorted out. And I think there was a deadline yesterday, closing business for anybody that was to return funds to me, which was what I heard. I put a post yesterday and a short little video about those that were wanting to make right and to return monies to me. The closing was yesterday at 6. It was a holiday over here in Western Canada due to the Truth and Reconciliation Day, which would have been great to have that all closed out and reconcile. And those that have owed me money from all the monies that have been stolen and taken and withheld and suppressed and depressed and hidden and fabricated and all of the things that have been done, over 17 federal crimes, you can send it to the bank, attention to me, Joanna L. Ross, and then my email, joannacosmicangel@yahoo.com, and send it to the bank. You can send any of those documents, couriered today as the closing because yesterday was a holiday, the bank was not open. And so in that, it does affect what you're coming into next. And we just discussed that John Lennon timeline. So those that choose not to make anything right, those that choose not to do any reconciliation, then you will be moved off into the Epstein earth, and you will have no further mercy or recognition or movement in where your soul will go into a higher evolution progress. They will just be getting lower, and it will be between your soul and source as to how to operate in the lower realms of to what happens next into the next evolution of incarnation, because it will be eternal. It'll always be eternal, but it will just be eternal darkness. And so you have to understand, you have to earn your placement in consciousness growth, in consciousness eternal life. You have to be able to hold the consciousness. And that's why, again, we're going to simply find out that all of the corrupt shadow underground stuff will never ever work. And you can talk about it till you're blue in the face, but everybody will just find out. You're just going to find out for yourselves, because you cannot fake vibration. You cannot fake the truth of these stories. Every one of these points, I can tell a story on it, and I can bring the validation of source because I'm a conduit. I'm connected to those dots. People that are cloning, and people that are in these government agendas, and people that are in these studying programs to study me and then have somebody look like me and copy me, they will never be able to stand on stage and talk about any one of those stories at a moment of spontaneous, when you're being spontaneous in front of spirit and opening all of your multidimensional systems to the download of spirit. They wouldn't, because all they've done is copy a past version of me. This moment of me might pull up a completely different story. Like when we're talking about soul's progression. This might bring up that might bring up the story I just told you about, the John Lennon reincarnation, if you will. It's not John Lennon himself, it's that lifetime they held as the John Lennon body. The soul of that being is continuing. It's a grand soul, and it's got infinite number of perspectives. One of those Earth timelines perspectives was John Lennon. Just like I had a perspective of Rudolf Steiner. That's just a perspective of me. My grand soul has many perspectives. That's why I can talk about many different things. That's why I can go in different realms, because there's lots of perspectives of me. My soul is now infused, so I can talk about all these different body perspectives. So that boy is just showing you that perspective of the soul's progression. That's multidimensionality. The multidimensionality is how we're able to understand the higher range of consciousness, the higher range of sourceness, the higher range of who we truly are. When you get that, then you know that, okay, maybe it's worth harmonizing with light every day, because if you're harmonizing with light every day, you're activating greater light within your body, your cells, your synapses, your brain, your perspectives, your beliefs, your patterns, all of those things. Your greater light helps oscillate you in a faster rotation. When you do so, you then start thinking about all these wonderful things. Well, wow, maybe if that's possible, this is possible, that's possible. Then you become a higher vibrating thinker, a more intelligent being, because they're not stuck in the conformity of church and state, religions and boxes and ceilings, that they want to control you and they want to move you in certain arenas. That's control, dictation, and fear through domination. And that's not liberation. That's not higher intelligence. That's fear. They have a lack of abundance. They have lack mindset. They have lack of the soul. They have lack of connection. They have lack of sense of self. They're in a lost state because they're not connected with source. There's no connection. When they are connected with source, they then become more neutral, and they then become more opening to build bridges. Because, wow, this is possible. Maybe we can see source in different ways. Maybe we can be source in different ways. Maybe we can think about God and religion and all of these things in different ways. Still have it as little practices, but it's not the grand overall umbrella of who you are as source. It will never be. They're just practices that we do. It's just like going to a school for a little while. Okay, that's what you learn in school for. That's what you learn in math. That's what you learn in social studies. That's what you learn in Baha'i. That's what you learn in Judaism. That's what you learn in Buddhism. They're all just the little things you learn. Source creator is the multiverse. This multiverse might not have anything that is even recognizable as far as religion. We don't know what this universe has. We have no idea what this higher universe looks like or feels like. They might have anything to do with religions. It might be something completely, profoundly unexplainable. We don't know. That's source. Source wants to elevate us. Source wants us to become infinite in our thoughts, our words, and our deeds. That's godliness. So if the infinite is godliness, how and why could we ever move about life trying to have your foot on somebody else's neck because you want them to get down and live in poverty and never ever to receive love or goodwill, when all that person has done is bring you information and wisdom and truth? And so in the keeping of truth and reconciliation, I've been saying for the beginning of time, I've known my ex about 15 years longer than anybody else has in Calgary. I know who this man is. I know who this man is from a multidimensional perspective of the many timelines that we've had together. And I know this man from all the downloads I've been given from Source Creator. And it's not to anybody to know that but his soul and I and God and I. I make my decisions based on what I'm given from Source. The perspective is in the collective that divine feminine and women like myself, because there's been so many judgments, and that's about the perspectives of everybody leveling up. There's no judgment to anybody. I forgive everybody. I am not a ditz and I'm not a bimbo. I knew who this man was going into the marriage, and I knew who this man was throughout the marriage. My love for children and my love for having children was the epitome of why I made my decisions. I knew who he was in 2016 when I decided at that time to get a divorce. And since 2016, my life has literally been hell because of his wounding and his refusal to face his wounds and his inner child issues. I had chosen to move forward in the highest and the best, and every day I devoted and I prayed and I promised that I will make this divorce as smooth and as smooth as harmonious as how easy as I can make it on betterment and behalf of my children, because I didn't want to put them through any pain or trauma. And it was my promise to do everything possible by the book. And through that 8-year process, I was put through nothing but delays and derailment based on the deeds and the actions from him and his coven and everybody that was involved in the shadow government to try and delay and derail and suppress and make me never move forward in my highest path. That divorce was dictated and was inspired by Source after me getting to know and healing myself, because it was not a part of my destiny. That relationship was not a part of my destiny, because there was too much wounding that he was not willing to face. And Source had already known that. I was heeding Source in all of my transactions, in all of my decisions. And in all of the delays, and in all of the abuses, and all of the stalking, and all of the spying, illegal surveillance, and everything that had happened from the shadow government to the coven, and everything that had been handed down, because the devil knows what my role was, the devil knows, and all those beings that were involved in having me not move forward, having me not know who I am, having me not see their deeds behind the doors, having me not do this and not do that, they all thought that I was absolutely dumb, and they still think to even this day that my ex can come back and woo me and sway me back into the same karmic story, to have me go back into the same karmic experiences. And all of the cords have been cut, and there will be no way that I would ever allow anybody to stand before me and waste even 5 minutes of my time to listen to any type of a conversation of any type of an offer. And I've said this for 8 years solid, every day for 8 years, 100 times a day, for 8 years. So what's 8 times 352? Times every day, do the math. That's how much I am sure, and even add 1 billion onto that, because I've had to do the healing of the darkness of the soul of all of the wounds that these people have put me through. Since the shadow government, because he was a part of it, he took the contract to be a part of the shadow government's minion, to do the directing and to do the spiritual hits on me. He took that contract. So he has to make redemption on that. He has to do his own redemption. I'm not involved in any of their healings or their redemptions. Each person in that cult has to take on, and they have to redeem themselves on why they took the contracts to lie, to do the chanting, to do the rituals, the 2,000 rituals on my life, the selling of my name on the underground, the illegal surveillancing, the illegal making money off me, the illegal using my images, the illegal content stealing, using my intellectual properties, everything that has been done over 17 crimes over 50 years. Everybody that's been involved, you have to redeem your own soul's transactions. I have nothing to do with it anymore, and I told you that 3 years ago. I've been telling you since the 3 years, I've been telling you and showing you about the entropy of sacrificing, the entropy of voodoo, the entropy of black magic, the entropy of what it does to your cells, the entropy of what it does to your brain, the entropy and the return of everything that you have all been doing. I've been showing you, and I've been teaching you, and I've been telling you. And I've been showing you the soul's progression or the soul's entropy. And each of you have been choosing. And every day you're seeing more and more proof, and you're getting validation on all of my predictions. They're all coming true. Because I am that ranked. So for anybody to think, and anybody to think in the cults or covens, or anybody in any reality, don't ever think of me as a ditz or dumb. You can if you want, but you just end up in your own demise and your own karma. I knew 8 years ago that this was going to be the contract that he and I held. I knew that. That's why I asked for the divorce. I'm a master. I don't do things just willy-nilly. I'm very precise and calculated in why I do what I do, because I heed spirit. I am shown and I am told and I see and I feel what people do behind closed doors. I know everything that was done behind closed doors. I knew there were other families. I knew there were other children. And I brought it forward in the divorce papers, and if you do your research, you will see it. And there will be emails that the lawyers did provide to the plaintiffs and said, these are the claims that are made. Do you agree or do you not agree? And then he has to be okay with perjuring himself. These are all brought up in the divorce proceedings. So do your research. I don't need to prove anything. God will. I do what I do because I knew I didn't like him and love him at that time. And I don't now, because it's nothing but deceit and lies. And he's not doing anything as far as protecting and bringing joy and happiness and healing to the family. He's not standing in his power. He's not standing in his healing, and he's not doing the work as provided that God is. God's providing opportunities every moment to heal and do right and bring truth and clean the slate and come out of the closet. I knew all of these things. I have nothing to prove to any of you. So anybody coming forward and say, I'm going to give you a confession and a Paul, I'm going to give you this and that because you don't know, but you don't know, and we want to make sure you're not going to go forward and do anything wrong and make it wrong. Please, people. I've known him for 15 more years than all of you. He's a very good manipulator. He knows exactly what he's doing, and he's been given infinite opportunities to heal. He will never be the person that sits beside me ever. He will never be the one that stands beside me and leads the people. Never. He will never be my person. I've never ever called him my person, ever. I've never prayed for him to come back to me, ever. I knew the day that I asked for the divorce, this was a part of my destiny. We are not meant to be. I knew that since 2016. I knew it earlier than that. And I'm placing all of the coins on the table. Don't ever think that you know more than I do about me. Don't ever think that you're hiding things behind the closed doors, corrupt governments and corrupt world leaders and corrupt shadow governments and satanic mafia people that think you're going to be paying and you're going to be taking money to take me out. And don't think this spirit has 10 angels walking in and around and beside you and me to make sure that I will never be touched. As you've been told 18 million times. So as you come forward with whatever you think you're going to come forward and tell me and dictate and say as your confession or your half-assed apology, that's, by the way, 3 years late. Before you do, thinking you're going to advise me and you're going to give me some information that you don't think that I don't know, and you're going to save me from myself. Let me tell you this. I have come here before you were even born, and I prepared my own lands that I walk. And I knew in 2016 that over is over. And I've prayed every day to cut the cords and to be cleansed of these people and parasites that think they are going to latch on and leech onto something that I've been manifesting since the very beginning of this planet's inception of human life. And nobody, and no low vibrational warlock, no low vibrational witch, no voodooist, no backcountry voodoo dollist, no corrupt, dark ass, warped ass, mason ass, dark ass shadow government person is going to keep me from my destiny and my manifestations that I've been manifesting since the beginning of fucking time. Don't think you know more than me about me than I do. Divine Feminine has risen. And through truth and reconciliation, I reconcile that with myself. I reclaim all of my power since the beginning of time. I reclaim all of my voice since the beginning of time. I reclaim all of my lineages since the beginning of time. Divine Feminine stands on the top of this planet and on the top of the highest mountains with her own staff and her own gavel and her own mantle. And nobody on this planet and nobody in the galaxy will take it from thine self. THYNE. You don't know me. You never did know me. Not one of you have ever had a conversation with me just to get to know one another at a soul level. So don't pretend you're going to tell me something I don't know. God is giving each of you the opportunities to bring me my birth records and to bring me the records that I should have had due to me at the time I was born here. God's giving the shadow government and the elites and the officials those opportunities to make right on your redemption. That's the opportunity God's giving you through me. I'm here to teach you a lesson. Level up. Do you care about your soul's progression or don't you? These are your opportunities to clear your karma. I don't need a 3-year late, half-assed apology, half-assed confession that you think you're going to save me. You won't, dear. I saved me. Nobody will take any of that. I am self-made. I am self-healed. I am self-designed. I am self-directed. Period. My ex will not claim an ounce of me or my energy ever again. The cords have been cut. The timelines have been severed. Carry on, wayward son. Thank you for all the lessons. You're valued. You're appreciated as a divine being of source. You are no longer in my space. You will no longer touch my spirit or my soul. I am that I am. Put that in the Akash, please, spirit. Duly noted. This is divine feminine taking her stand, and I will rebalance this planet and watch the poles shift. That is my ranking. I don't need your confessions. The governments, you owe me what you owe me. YouTube, you owe me what you owe me. My ex and everybody that has stolen and taken from me, you owe me the monies that I'm asking for, and it will be sent through a courier, through an official draft, or it will be sent through lawyers. I will not meet with you. I don't care to. You've wasted enough of my time and my life and my energy. The cords are cut, the gates are closed. Back off and go find your sandwich and get your life healed. I have great things to do on this planet, dear lighted ones. I am a teacher, I'm a healer, and I'm a creator God. And if that happens to shake your reality of your beliefs and your perspectives, then so be it. Start there, get healed. I will not apologize for being profound. Nobody knows me as thine know me. And I shake my head at anybody that thinks that they can make a judgment and they can make a call and they can make up lies and go through a criminal court and make up 15 different lies about who I am. And these people have never sat before me, not even for a second. And yet these crimes have been accused on me. Not 1 second has anybody stood before me in person, life to life, voice to voice, heart to heart. None of you. You took the word from an abuser, from a warlock, from a sociopathic, pathological liar who couldn't stand that he was rejected and abandoned at the threshold of his lies. They were his lies, they were his choices. And so I didn't want to, but I had to. I had to place all of the private details on the table because there was nothing but years and years and years of lies and refusal to do right. There should have been no names. There should have been nothing brought into the collective. There should have been nothing ever said or spoken. But because the shadow government, the shadow elites, the corrupt crime, the corrupt organized crime, the corrupt churches, the corrupt people that run the businesses, the corrupt this, corrupt that, corrupt this, cults and covens, all of these people that are making more money than everybody times 10. Because these people are so egregious, they're so gluttonous, they're so outrageously selfish. They didn't want to go the silent way. They didn't want to go the moralistic way. They didn't want to go the integrous way by just making fucking right. They wanted to step and break the neck of the one divine feminine healer with a 2,000 subscribe list. And that's all she has. That's all she has to devote all of her profound teachings to the world is one platform. And these misogynistic, oligarchic, satanic, Luciferian, old boys school, white-collar criminals that think that they are righteous by 10% of what they speak, and the 89% of what they do behind closed doors is nothing but egregious, dark, gluttony, raping. You don't fool anybody, shadow governments, and your sick human testing, human experimenting agendas. And then you're hiring and you're paying dark little minions of cults and covens to do your dirty work and your magic. Everything will be brought out as I have predicted, 100%. Everything that I have said has been 100%. There has been nothing but crime, theft, and I release all of you. I don't care anymore. I don't care anymore. The deadline's up. I'll make my money 10 times over on the infinite number of ideas and blessings that I'm given in every moment because I'm connected with God, you're not. I'm aligned with God, you're not. I have a leeway to God, you don't. I have a portway to God, you don't, because all you're doing is sitting in lies and refusal to make right. So that's your choice. Continue with your choice, but don't ever enforce anybody or project onto anybody that you think you know something and you're going to save them from something. Nothing that you can say is going to give me any more information than what I already know. I know everything. I felt it. I saw the sex orgies going on behind closed doors to manifest and harvest off me. I felt that. How do you think that feels for a high-functioning, high-sensitive, psychically empathic person that's a healer? Does anybody consider how I feel on any given moment on what is done to me in the collective? Nobody cares because you're all disconnected. Think about an innocent little child that can hear everything and magnitude times 100. And all that child hears is negativity and hate and luring into prostitution and luring into sex and dark ass, black magic and voodoo. Because people are sitting in wounding of envy and jealousy and their self-hate and their self-loathing, and they're refusing to get healed. But they've been told an infinite number of times how to truly get healed. They've been told and they've been shown. Wounded adults, you have responsibility to be a higher role model for the children on the planet, and you just haven't. You've been shown and told about your multidimensional systems and how and why to get healed. So you will have to sit in your redemption and your deliverance. Those are your choosings. You're a responsible adult. You chose. But you will not enforce other people to take on your projections. You will not force other people to take on your lack of self and wherever you are at. I get to choose from here on out who will be in front of me, who I will spend time with, and who I will give my blessings to and who I will share them with. Nobody else has those decisions over me. Nobody else is the maker of me. Nobody else is the driver of me. Nobody's my handler. Nobody's my manager, and I don't have a boss. I never did. I never had a boss. And if anybody says that they were hiring me as a contract, I never got paid one penny from anybody. I have never been given anything except by my 2 clients. I will run circles around every single person that I will sue in the highest of courts. I'll run circles around all of you, the fake POAs, the fake this, the fake that, the fake this, the fake that, and how many times everybody has refused to make right on my behalf, on my name of the heavens. You have refused the heavens in doing so. You have refused all that is the sacred royal name that has come here generation after generation after generation to teach the highest light intelligence. That was our mission. Our mission was, since the beginning of time, to teach the highest light missions, the highest light wisdoms, the highest light intelligences from all missions, from Sirius and the Pleiades and Orion. These were our missions through the galactic timelines. And our grandfathers, the Arcturians. And we carry the seeds of all galaxy star systems. And as we awaken every day, we bring them forward to teach the new hybrids. We bring them forward to teach the new celestials. That's our birthright. And nobody has say over that. No government, no nobody. No Epstein agenda, no military, no NSA, no CIA, no FBI, no letters, no numbers, no nothing. These are our multiversal birthrights. We have the choice to know who we are as celestials. We have our choice to know who we are as universal beings. We will open our DNA, we will open our chakras, and we will be divine fifth dimensional beings. And I'm taking people there. That's my birthright. So don't anybody come up to me and say, I'm going to give you what you know and I'm going to save yourself from yourself. I make my decisions with Mother, Father, God, period. Back off. You don't know an ounce about me. You never did and you never will. Nobody has ever thought or considered or taken the time or taken the humanness to spend 5 minutes to come and talk to me as a human. To be kind to me and to offer to me and to lift me up. I've had to be in mostly my divine masculine energy to survive every day on this planet, where it seems to be corruption and bidding and betting and selling and trafficking life of the most sacred is a way of life. And then making rules and laws around it so the most highest people on the planet that do have the wisdom and intelligence get suppressed and never heard from again, and then they get taken out from the underground of the highest bidder. You must be also very proud of yourselves. And this is the legacy you're going to sit with in your soul's progression, and it won't progress. And that's your choice. You're either going to step into a higher version of who you are as God, in God, of God. And you're going to treat all life in God, as God, of God, because it is. All life is God. All life is source, and it's a magnetic, and it's a vibration, and it's quantum. You want to step into this new category of learning and expanding, or don't. I'm not here to make you believe. I'm not here to work on your beliefs. I don't care. I care about being left the fuck alone so I can do what I'm here to do. Because there are people on this planet, like the little boy that says he's John Lennon from another lifetime. I'm here to help inspire him and help him to expand his multidimensionality. Because he's a genius. That's my job, dear lighted ones. I am the divine feminine and I am risen, already risen. Did you get the tense of how I say things? It's very purposeful on how I say what I say and when I say it and how I do. These are my liturgies. This is my garden. This is my ranking. And sometimes I have to pull it. Everybody from Calgary, you are all forgiven. Back off, get your own sandwich. Don't come towards me. There is nothing to make right. There's no business that's unfettered. All business is done. You had your times, you had your opportunities to make right and pay me what you stole. Now make it right on your own deliverance. Make it right with your soul. You will be guided by source only. You will not come back to me. You will not give me your half-assed apologies and confessions. I don't need them. You are forgiven. The cords are cut. You will not bind to me. You will not bind to my riches. You will not bind to my futures. You will not bind. You will not bind. You will not bind. All of your ancestors are making sure there will never be any more black voodoo or root work done on my soul or my Akash. You will not touch my Akash or my soul. My royal family is separate from yours now. Those were your choices in your degradation of life, of your degradation of spiritual law, of higher order law. You were all told 1 billion times. All of you were told. You will not touch my riches. You just won't. Go through God. Your deliverance is through God only. Anubis and I are said what we've said. Our gates are closed. You will not bind to me. You do not know who I am. I save me. Period. My word is, I manifest my reality. I manifest who I am, a source. I am the divine feminine risen. And I will carry on my teachings from all the galaxies, from all the universes. I reclaim all that I am as a divine creator God, as I have been and will always be. Step out of my way, as you have all been told, shown. He amaka te ke eshe namakata te ke eshe namakata te ke ema a te shishi mamakata te ke shishi mamakata te ke namakata te ke ele ke te ma a te ke shishi ma te amamaka te ke eshe ma a te ke she amamaka a te she mamakata ese la mai te ke ya. Please mark that in the Akash, please, Holy Spirit. I reconcile my soul and I bring truth to the higher versions of who I am now stepping into as a divine multiverse leader. I'm a teacher of the higher light wisdoms of the Holy Lord Sananda. I provide myself as the divine Holy Spirit, the holy vessel unto the Mother and the Father, and I bow and I kiss your feet, divine Holy Mother and Father. How may I serve? As your devoted servant and the daughter of all that is. I am the blessed being of holy light. I reclaim my power, reclaim my light. My choices are my choices and nobody inhibits it. Nobody sways it. Nobody will misdirect me. Nobody will tell me something I do not know. I am that I am, and I walk with Mother Father. I am the Divine Father's plan. I am my seeding, I am my making, I am my own design through the Holy Father. Amen. These are in the soils of all that is the garden of New Earth Star. My incantations of divine light wisdoms now. I stand before all peoples. I am that I am, dear lighted ones, and I am a wave. You cannot box the wave. You cannot box the sun. And you cannot hide the sun, for the sun will always come out and the sun will always shine through. And all that is not in the sun's keeping will be known, and that too is true as well. So heal it and face it, it's all one. But you will no longer go forward in the enforcement and the domination and the breaking the backs of all the innocent. For this planet has been enough and it's in slavery. Enough is enough, dear lighted ones. You will never move forward in progression by enslaving the peoples, by moving laws around and by moving interest rates around so that the rich will become more rich. These contracts are done, and you will not control information just to have more manipulation and more control. These contracts are done, and every day there will be the shifting out. If you choose to continue in the direction of entropy, then so be it, but you will not manifest the enforcement and the enslavement for people to go with you on your sinking, failing ship. Are you getting the lessons, dear lighted ones? This is why my story, my personal life story has been so profound. It has been nothing but fabrication and lies from the day one because other people had agendas over my life. And it's been nothing but suppression and depression to make me go in everybody else's way. And the cord's been cut. I am liberated finally, and my wings are unfurled. I am free and liberated from all of you. I am here for the teaching of those that so desire to come and sit at my feet and be blessed every day with the manna of the heavens, the many heavens, celestials, aliens, and otherwise. Thus then all is God. That is who I am. I am allness. And that's why I don't make sense to most of you. Because you sit in boxes of disseparation and departmentalization and all of these things. And that's fine. That's where you are. I accept you. I love you. But you will not continue to throw hate and do death rituals on me and bid my name back and forth in the underground. Immediately, as you've been told every day, you will get immediate karma. In any of those biddings and transactions, you get your karma back. It's your mirror. I will not play your game. I do not give you my soul for you to surrender into such bidding and selling. You will never have an ounce of my soul, not a drop. Therefore, thus then, it is your direct mirror. You will get direct karma. Do the math. I'm teaching you how to do the math. And if you still go forward with it, then you absolutely must know then the ignorance equals ignorance, because it will equal your demise. Therefore, thus then, it's your demise. We're teaching you, people. Will you choose to level up and be higher intelligence, dear lighted ones? Yes or no? We'll say that again. Take a deep breath. Do you choose to move forward in higher intelligence of light wisdoms? Yes or no? Do you want to bend with the light? Do you want to grow with the light? Do you want to stretch with the light? Say it out loud so your cells can hear you. Yes, I choose to bend and grow and stretch with light. I choose to bring light in, for light is God, and God is light, and God is all things. God is in the darkness too, and I accept that. I love that. All things are God, and I can navigate my way around all things, and I'm showing you. You can make incantations, and you can make ceremonies and rituals of thine self, and that is the most powerful way that you lead thine self. Be the commander of your thine self, and state to those that wish to sway you and distract you, and to take you off path. No, today I stated, none will take me off path, none will tell me more than what I know. I have been shown things that go on behind all closed doors. Why do you think I know what was said behind the many doors that were said? We want her gone, she's bad for business. I heard that through my own ears. I am a celestial, I am a human, I am advanced in all ways, and I'm shown what I need to be shown to make my own decisions. I'm a free, divine, liberated woman of magnitudes of importance and intelligence. Perhaps you give yourself a little respect and myself as well, and the divine creator that is breathing you. Sit at thine feet for 5 or 10 minutes and get the lesson, instead of judging and projecting what you think you know over me. Because you don't. Nobody knows thine self more than me and God, period. Because nobody has given any such care, any such credit, any such compassion, and any such love. None have given such to sit at my feet, except the clients that I speak of often, because they do and they are and they will. They care. They are at the feet. They are open to infiniteness. They get the heart of pure intention, of passion to share Christ consciousness. They get the vibration of truth. And so too, it is your discernment. What feels good and what is now in the teaching of higher intelligence. Where is the planet ready to go? Who are you? What do you sit within? What's going on within you? And how can you redirect your intention, focus, and all that you are to create a new reality? Our world is changing, our world is multidimensional. And just as if every human has infinite aspects of itself, just as that little boy was showing you that John Lennon has infinite aspects of itself, that little boy is a future aspect of John Lennon, and there are other planets where John Lennon is still alive. Those are infinite perspectives, just as there's infinite perspectives of Nelson Mandela being alive. And all these other famous John F. Kennedy, there's infinite planets where John F. Kennedy is still alive. These are all perspectives of infiniteness. Infinite earths, and they can tap in with each other to show you. They can come in and bring a story of magnitude so that people can awaken. If that little boy awakened 100 people just by his story to remember who you are as an infinite, multidimensional being and many perspectives of who you are. I am a future perspective of those people from Calgary. I'm a future perspective. And they were meant to come and learn at thine feet. But they were so taken by the shiny objects and what money could get and all the promises of the promises of the promises. And that's what they chose. So fine. Wonderful. So go be it.
But you will not continue to try and hoard and try and bind what I have said no to 8 billion times. You're not listening to the highest will, which is right use of free will and non-interference. And if after so many times you're still not heeding, Source Creator will take the sword of Michael and it will cut that. You're not getting the first right use of free will. You're not bringing anything into the balance. Everything is quantum law, dear lighted ones, and you will absolutely not be given credence. And you will not override God. You will not override universal laws, period, point blank. Neither will your religions. Your religions will never override universal law. So therefore, thus then, are you a part of the bigger umbrella? Doesn't it make sense? It's logical. Why not just be a part of the bigger umbrella and be all that is and learn about things in different loving ways and be different loving people and be a different new aspect of you? Because there's going to be infinite number of aspects of you. You're going to show yourself literally synchronicity so that you can wake up and grow, wake up and grow, wake up and grow. Who are you? Go read and listen to that video about the aspect of John Lennon. These are going to happen more and more every week because these star seeds are coming already awake. The veil's already pulled for them. This is what we've been talking about. You have to earn the consciousness of where you're going to sit in every reality. 5D is not 3D. 3D is only past, present, and future. And you pay attention to time, and you pay attention to restriction, and you pay attention to the death process, and you pay attention to greed, and greed, and greed, and greed, and greed. So heal it. It's not really who you are, it's just a speck of time. You could be a whole bunch of other things, because you are. You're just not seeing it, you're just not getting it. That's okay, but you can get it now if you want. Do you want it? Do you want to be more? Do you want to feel more? Do you want to feel the vibration of Source? Do you want to feel all the aspects of you coming and living through you? And you can do it in a beautiful, profound way so it doesn't seem schizophrenic. No, you can live as this beautiful, embodied part of you to say, no, these are all aspects of me. And I'm taking on all my gifts and skills and talents because I've earned it. I've earned my level of consciousness. I'm a divine great leader, and I'm a divine great teacher, and my skills will only advance. And I'm going to be bringing things to this planet, and my foot will touch the ground, and there will be ripples of light throughout creation. Make no mistake about it, because that's me, I am. I get to say and I get to speak how I see things in the ethers, how I see things magnetically, how I see things through the electromagnetic field. I can see that. I am predicting for myself. I'm creating for thine self. That is the creatorhood that God gave me, and I'm showing each of you. If you so wish, you can be this as well. As Jesus did, I am. You can be this as well. Wasn't that the staple teaching? You can be this as well. You are. Take a deep breath and feel the golden light of the Holy Source Creator, bathing and cleansing and bathing and cleansing and blessing you with the divine holy light. How much time do we have? We have just enough time to read off my channeling from the Sirius collection. I'm grateful for everybody that has brought me forward in all the timelines and all the connections and soul contracts. We have each played each other's roles so that we can learn as much as we can learn. I'm very grateful for those from my past so that I've learned how to grow into new versions of me. And I'm very grateful for you. I'm very grateful for the contracts. My ex and everybody that has been involved with my ex up to the shadow government, there's no hard feelings. You're all forgiven. I will make my monies back, and I will make my successes, and I will do whatever it is I will do because Source has me on an eternal path. And if you don't return it, it will be given to me in another way. So go about your lives. You've all been given the deadlines where I suppose the end of business today, because yesterday was a holiday and the banks were not open yesterday. So we're going to go forward with our teachings. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. I'm so very grateful. Thank you, Holy Spirit. So remember, my books are on Barnes & Noble. I have 3 of them. And also Amazon. And don't forget to do your daily ascension work with your multidimensional bodies, and make yourself some beautiful questions. Who are you? What do you exist within? What's going on within now? And do your daily journaling. That's how you advance. That's how you gain your connection with Mother Father. That's my 3rd book. My 2nd book or 3rd? Dance with Creation. That's my 3rd book. And this is Rasuli. That's one of my favorite artists, Rasuli. He gave me permission to take on that light work for my book number 3. He's such a sweet man. His beautiful artwork. Go check out his webpage. Rasuli, Rosoui, Rasuli. He's got some beautiful books about all of his art too. He's a beautiful artist. I love his art. His art is so profound. So thank you. Okay, so we just have enough time. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Okay, so if you wanted any of these codes through this channeling, then just open up your pillar of light that runs along your back and have your back nice and straight. If you're slouched, then the light can't get up and down the spine. So it's always good to sit straight up so that the universe knows and feels your importance in the light, the pillar of light that runs along your spine, and you're going to be calling in the light from the heavens, and you're going to be grounding through the new Earth star. Hello, Axel. I remember you from like years and years and years ago, if you're the same Axel. I think when I first joined YouTube, way back in the beginning of time, I had an Axel client. I don't know if you're the same Axel, but I don't know how many Axels there are out there. But thank you. Well, there's Spirit told me that Spirit does have me veiled for reasons, for safety reasons for me. So everything will be in divine timing when Mother, Father release me to the world in various bits and stages, and that also has to do with my moving too. My moving into my power. I have to present myself in leadership ways so that I'm testing myself with creation. I'm testing myself with God. I'm testing myself with myself. And so when I come forward and do my own incantations, I do my own initiations, that's me taking the commandmentship of the helm. That's me taking the drivership as Commander Ashtar does. And I'm doing it in the best way that Divine Feminine is, because there's no Divine Feminine role models on the planet. So this is a first time for me, and I'm taking the place, and I'm taking the helm, and I'm taking the driver's seat, if you will, for Divine Feminine, right? And there's going to be an equal masculine that will be with me on this journey, but right now that masculine's not with me. But I have to prove myself to Source. I have to prove myself to God to know that I can stand up and I can reclaim that power back from anybody that thinks they know more about me than I do. All the shadow governments and all the people that think they're doing secret testing on me and secret this and secret that. I see it all. It's ridiculous to think that all of you think you're hiding things from me and Source. It's ridiculous. I knew about the offshore accounts. I knew about the hidden bank accounts. I knew about the children. I knew about all these things that you lied to my face about every day. And then you roll your eyes and you falsely accuse me in actual court. You falsely accuse me and say that I'm a whore and I'm addicted to drugs and I lie to people. Everything they basically said was their actions in crime. Everything that they said about me was their actions and all of their crime. I'm still this, and again, truth will prevail itself, but that's why, again, I don't want to waste any more time. I've been celibate for 15 years now. I don't even take aspirin. I healed my shoulder with my teams. Obviously, if I'm celibate, I don't sleep around. My life force is very important to me. God would not have initiated me to world leader status, if I did any of those things that they say that I do. I'm initiated with the highest of the world leaders, and I'm transcending even them. I'm making things happen that have never been happened on the planet before with Divine Feminine at the driver's seat. Because it's needed. Divine Masculine need to be healed. Divine Masculine need to get out of their power tripping. They need to get out of their misogyny. They need to heal their wounds. They need to heal the distortions. That's why church and state are broken. Most of it is run by Divine Masculines that are not healed. There's nothing wrong with church, but if church is run by broken people, the churches will be broken, and it's shown everywhere. The planet needs healing more than anything right now, dear lighted ones, and I've been saying this for years. And those of you that have been following me since the very first KCUR radio show, the healings on this planet is needed at the highest time right now, and the leaders should be speaking about nothing except for healing the people. How can we get the highest light wisdom so that we know that we're a part of creation? We know that we're part of the universe. God has our back. God has a plan for each and every one of us. And it's far beyond what the churches have ever taught. So we know that. So why can't the churches just be places where we can have the multidimensional healings take place and the profits are shared equally? There's no one person taking away and running off with the bank, as what was done in Calgary. Everybody was using me. There was hundreds of people using me. I was being used by hundreds of people. Let alone, on top of that, my soul already being offered to the celestial children that I am helping them progress. See, again, nobody understands these things but me and God. Nobody knows me more than I know myself with God. I'm bringing these things, explaining to you that when you think you're hiding things, and when you think that you're the all-knower and you're getting one over God and you're fooling God and you're doing all these little sacrificial rituals and these destiny swaps and these sacrifices, and when you think you're doing all of these things and you think you're going to gain something, I'm telling you right now, each and every one of you will fail. You will fail on your sacrifices. You will fail on your destiny swaps. You will fail on your black voodooisms. You will fail with your little voodoo dolls in the closet, and all of them look like me, and you've got a million pins in them because you want me to die. You want me never to wake up. You want me to hand over the insurance forms that I've never signed. I've never signed any insurance forms. I've never signed anything on anything to do with any of these people from Calgary. I never would have done that. And if anybody took it upon themselves to get the research and to get the Privacy of Information Acts and to get the privacies of the documents, you can go to my lawyer and get every single email I've ever sent, and the proof will be there, and it will be validated 100%. And it will be proven that there's been perjury in all of the courts and all the proceedings. Perjury, perjury, bearing false witness. Perjury, perjury, bearing false witness. You're all liars because you got paid to lie. That's where your fault was. That's your demise. So face it, heal it, and get on with it. You coming to tell me it doesn't do anything, I already know it. All of you are liars. You all took money. You all did what you did. You all were part of the rituals. You were all part of the orgies. You were all a part of lying. You were all a part about saying all of these things and being a part of the false forms and going into the banks and taking money out that was never yours. It was never your money. While I sat homeless and I brought forward myself on all of my videos, go back to my videos, do your research. Go back to the very first video where I said, I am homeless. This is not okay. These people are stealing from me. This is exactly what Source has said, and it will be proven. 6 years later, because the community police are doing nothing, they're allowing these corrupt criminals because it's organized crime and everybody's getting paid. So it's up to everybody in the communities. Every time you get paid, every time you become a part of a lie where you've never talked to me in person, you've never picked up the phone and said, hey, this is what's being said about you. I want to get to know you on my level. I want to know you. What is it about you that I need to get to know and I need to get straight? What's really the truth? Go back to all of my videos. That's truth. I don't lie. Anything that's being said about me, they have no idea. I don't have a circle. I don't have a posse. I don't have groups and friends and fanatics. I don't ever get phone calls. Therefore, that's then they don't know me. Isn't that common sense? Anybody that says anything about me that they know me, they don't. They've never talked to me. They don't know me. I've been estranged for 8 years. I've been legally divorced since May 24. Go look at the document, pull it up from King's Court, Calgary, Alberta. Pull it up. Do your research. Now, if you put together all the pieces of this investigation, you will absolutely see without questionable doubt, without reasonable doubt, everything these people have been saying in Calgary are absolutely 100% false. It's been false. They've been making up an entire false reality based on 100% lies because they were unable to face who they were. Every single one of them. If you don't go to the authorities and bring your version of your truth for no other reason than to clear your soul, period, then you will not be redeemed. If you do not bring truth, then you will not go forward in your soul's progression and you will not earn higher consciousness. These are quantum truths. If you do not return the money that you stole, that you partied on, that you traveled on, that you said you had nothing to do with, and you said you didn't have any hidden monies, and you have offshore bank accounts, and you have bank accounts, you've been moving money back and forth, and you have hidden little boxes beside a tree, in the house, behind frames, and hidden somewhere in your house and underneath your mattress. All of these things will be found and it will be known because it's not your money, it's not your vibration, it's mine. And that vibration is finding me right back. That's a holographic reality. What is mine is going to return to me. And because none of you are in my vibration, you will not return to me. Does that make sense? It's a quantum return, it's quantum equal. You do not equal my vibration. Therefore, thus then, we will have no further co-creations together. Those are the quantum laws of the creator gods. I am a creator God, these are the laws. Are you getting it? It's a quantum return. Therefore, thus then, you will not co-create with me. Only those of the highest truth and the highest pure of heart. If you purely care about who I am and you purely care about me having a roof over my head and you purely care about getting the money back to me, then truth will be done. Thine will be done. Thy will be done. That's what is meant in your Lord's Prayer. Thy will be done. If it's meant to be, it will be. Thy will be done. I trust God. I surrender. It's all God now. It's all in God's hands now. Nothing more I can say can add anything to it. I know who I am. Period. Thank you, Holy Spirit. So the Sirius, your planet at this time is reestablishing its divine connection with the galactic family and all of its brethren. It is unquantifiable to bring it is unquantifiable to bring you any amounts or how many of anything that the planets are offering you in this galactic assistance for your planet to move forward in its planetary evolution. Gaia is moving in her ascension just as all of you are participants. All of you that so choose to be equal participants in ascension, you will be opening up to the light, as Celeste Joanna has been explaining, the quantum light that actually activates memory of who you are, just like that little story of that boy, right? That was a quantum memory. The older aspect of John Lennon is still active, right? The soul never dies. So the John Lennon aspect is still there. It's just in a new body called the little boy, right? Whatever that little boy's name was. So that little boy is just a continuance, another soul fragment of John Lennon. It's just another aspect. John Lennon has many planets he's existing in. There's also planets where John Lennon died. It's just an infinite aspect or infinite presence, depending on what perspective you want to look at the dodecahedron of John Lennon. That is just a one perspective. I am a perspective of Rudolf Steiner. I'm a perspective of Jesus. All of these things are just perspectives. Right? It's just showing you the multidimensionality. And when you heal it and you integrate it and you accept it, there's no restrictions, there's no greediness, there's no nothing. No, just accept it all. Accept it all and start healing. You become the dodecahedron of all your perspectives. And that's why you can see all the different versions of you. You know, maybe you were part of Plato back then. Maybe you were part of, King Edward. You know, they're just perspectives of you. They're still concurring. It's still moving right now. There's still planets where they're dead. There are planets where they're alive. There are planets where they're still existing, depending on what part of the perspective you want to look at it from. That's why you're going to see many things come out about the butterfly effect and the ripple effect about is some of the people we thought were passed on, are they? Like Tupac. Is Tupac really dead or is he alive? There's going to be lots of different versions of those stories that are going to come forward because there's different realities, different perspectives. If you want to be on an earth where Tupac survived and Tupac's going to come back, then that will be the earth you're going to be on. But it has to be an agreement between you and Tupac, right? It's no different from Nelson Mandela or John F.K. All of these things are reality perspectives. Same with Jesus. There's planets where Jesus is still walking. I'm an aspect of it. It's just a different perspective. It's the divine feminine perspective that's needed because this particular earth, this particular galactic movement, this particular galactic ascension is about bringing divine feminine back into balance. So the divine feminine for a divine feminine planet in the divine feminine galaxy of this star galaxy, because I'm seeing it at the galactic level. I knew this a long time ago. That's part of my awakening. The divine feminine for the galactic pulling up the womb, like lifting the womb up for that birth, that final transition of birth as the baby comes through the cervix, that is where the most power is needed. And so divine feminines will need to step up at the last minute to lift all of the collective up, those that so desire to continue with ascension. There will be many of the collective that won't go through with ascension. Because they haven't risen their conscious, they have not done enough work and they choose not to do enough work. That's their soul's choice. And that was always a given as well. But the divine feminines are the ones for their intuitive and for their balanced healing, for their chakras in alignment, for the quantum mathematics that has to happen. There will be many divine feminine lifting up to pull as many of the collective up as possible in the last phases of this ascension. Because I think there's another 10 years left until that final shift is done. So there's 10 years for the collective to awaken and get on the path of integrating into oneness, right? And so Gaia is going through it. So this was a really cool, I had a cool vision. How I got this download was that I was going for a walk and I saw myself on the planet and I was opening up a portal for all of the Sirius cetaceans, these new versions of Sirius cetaceans to come through into the oceans. And I was a portal. I was, as part of my shamanic skills, as a creator god. Part of myself as a creator god, as I work with the various planets through the hybridized species programs, I work with the different planets to help bring new species to anchor in and to start birthing new seed, a new garden seed, new life for the evolution of the 5D nourishment. So whatever is going to be needed in the future, there are new cetaceans that are being brought. There are new life forms being brought. We're going to see this is a prediction. We're going to see new animals and new species in our oceans to help provide the vibrational allowance that is needed for that 5D Earth. The oceans are very, very important to the movement forward, into the heightening forward of all that we are as higher conscious being. The oceans are very, very important for the raising of our consciousness. And so there are those of us that are creator gods that assist in creating certain, wormholes and portals so that higher vibrational consciousness can come down through us. It's in a dimensional shift. They showed me what it looks like, because many people are saying, well, we just don't see animals drop from the sky. Well, that's because you're in a lower vibrational dimension. You cannot see it. It does happen they showed me it's an interdimensional, it's like a window, right? It's an interdimensional window, right? It's a window that comes down, and the species are coming through a window that's veiled from the collective. So obviously it doesn't cause concern, but there is slightly a veil, and those that have enough sight and that are ready for it, that are connected with the oceans, connected with Sirius, because those beings from Sirius that are coming and doing such things, they are our soul family. They are us. Some of them are aspects of us. And it's very high intelligent light and life. And it is in that next stage of Gaia's 5, the New Earth Star. It is a part of New Earth Star's ascension codes. And we are going to be very blessed and very fed. We're going to be nourished by Sirius. And Sirius is kind of the opposite of what we think Sirius to be. Sirius is not very serious at all. They're very playful, and they're very divine and loving beings. I love their Sirius. I have many, many, many lifetimes on Sirius, and I've been working with Sirius for a very long time. The beings that came to save me and when I passed out at the pharmacy were my Sirius friends. And so they were always with me. I'm always working with the oceans. And so I feel very blessed, and I feel very grateful. So this was the download I got. So this is why they were telling me, because those beings are my family. I felt so happy to bring them down into the earth. I was so happy. So we don't think that just has to happen through human incarnation. No, there's now interdimensional portals and planes. I guess it's a plane, Plane. It's like a sheath that comes in between what is seen and what's not seen, right? And then they go into the oceans, and they create new species. They create new Christ consciousness energy, and they create new communication systems within the oceanic life. They create new communication through the plates, and then through the consciousness that hits the land, and those of us that communicate with the land, and we create that bridge for Father Source and the omnipresence and all of the energies in between. That's why I love being a conduit, because there's just so much interaction. I just finally, as a high functioning being, I get all that juice that I love being a part of Source Creator. So the planets within Sirius have always had a very long and deep loving history and a dynamic offering to Gaia since the beginning of time. Since all of its histories and future potentials, there are always studies that are being done by the Galactic Federations, because I'm a part of those study groups, and many of you will be awakening to your oceanic speaking gifts. So you're going to be speaking with the oceans and speaking with the life and understanding these studies that are going on, and how important our oceans are, how important our environment is, how important Gaia's consciousness is to the consciousness raising of who we are as higher vibrational beings, higher intelligent beings. As we know, every higher vibrational being on other planets, they are very deeply connected with their planet and how their planet communicates in its own consciousness, because it's one and the same. So there will always be studies that will be done, and many of you will be awakening to them. There will always life within life, and the changing topography of a planet that's going through galactic ascension. There is always the balancing of life that is very deeply held within your oceans, and many of you have missed this barometer of how you can get more get more entangled intimately with your oceans and such planetary balancing mechanisms. Much will be gleaned from your oceans and from the life within it, and moreover, who you are becoming as higher intelligent species, and much of it comes from your oceanic life. There is great excitement and divine activation from the knowledge and the wisdoms and the gifts to be great caretakers of the healers, as well as healers and conduits of your oceanic life. So again, we're going to be stepping into higher vibrational roles and caretakers of the earth. So that was really cool. So there are those that there are those of us that have creator gods in the creator god category, which I am, that have and obtained certain gifts from your shamanic, ancient ancestral lifetimes and from your celestial. It's all within the DNA, right? That soul's blueprint that's now coming forward and being activated, that, wow, I have these gifts that I can help the oceanic life, right? I can do that, and I didn't know that. So that was part of God letting me know that, yes, all of these are part of your gifts. You're a creator God. Why not, right? It's your family on Sirius wanting to be with you, so let's come and play. So it is your predisposed, active, interdimensional shuffling of life that comes in between planes, and it's bringing peace and a higher joy principle. So a joy factor, right? Higher joy factor. Those species that are coming within the upgrades of Gaia's ascension plan, just like we get upgrades within our brain, within our multidimensional systems, within our heart, within our chakras, so too does Gaia. And part of Gaia's upgrades is the interdimensional species that are being blessed to the planet from Sirius. Remember, They showed me a long time ago, and I talked about this in one of my very first KCR radio shows, that the upgrades of the oceans and what is in our oceans and how we have advanced in life have always been from the oceans, and we get it from Sirius. Sirius has always been connected with us since its first inception of life. Sirius has always been a part of that design, because it's like the DNA design, and that's between God and all the planets, right? Like Jupiter, Mars, all of these planets have access to Gaia's ascension, and they're helping Gaia. But because Sirius, we're so deeply connected with Sirius, and we want to become greater intelligence through the water body. We want to become the highest intelligent being through the water body. So they're going to be assisting us so greatly. I'm so very excited. It's going to be so exciting. And they're so highly creative. I'm very, very excited. Thank you, Holy Spirit. So just if you have new generations that are being breathed into human form by death and by birth and by rebirth, so too are the species and the upgrades needed in all that is nature, especially in your oceans. You will find that these species are inherent as you create greater unity, and the species that are being brought here have a higher code of genus that are also creating a new entanglement within the oceans, and will also be entangled in your new soul contracts of the new Earth star. You will be able to have higher vibrational communion. You will have them within your contact. You will just feel them in your field to connect with them and do channeling, or connecting with them to activate your soul's blueprint. Like, what are you here to offer? Are you here to offer new oceanic classes? How you talk with the oceans, how you work with the oceans, how we can heal the oceans, how we can. There's so much. It goes infinite, right? So anyways, you're going to feel them in your field. I've been feeling them. That's why they gave me this download. Oftentimes, there is too much stress in the populations of your current existing oceans. And so then the species call out for assistance in rehabilitating the species and adding to the species in the oceans. The species in the oceans work from a consciousness level. So whatever source and the oceans of Gaia and the consciousness of Gaia say our oceans are depleted, there's too much stress in the ocean, there's nuclear bombs going off, there's too much stress being put on the oceans, there's too much dirt, there's too much negativity. All of those are sending consciousness, again, magnetic pulsations to Source Creator, because Source is in the ocean, Gaia's in Source, Source is in Gaia. All of these send pulsations out, and the planets that assist send the consciousness down to Earth. And I'm a Creator God, so that I'm helping, and that I'm helping explain and teach and offer to the collective. This is how certain things are advanced in the oceans, how the genus is advanced, how the DNA is advanced in the oceans, and how we connect and commune with it. Because we're now moving into a 5D telepathic communion as one. And we're going to start feeling our star families more readily. So this is how sometimes the species come. They're too stressed to procreate in an advanced way, because they don't have the advanced DNA, because they're too damaged, because they might be, too much pollution, whatever it might be. So there are those situations where they're too stressed to procreate, and therefore then we can create interdimensional portals, that there are beings in Sirius that want to come down and help Earth through this magnetic experience of ascension. So we are going to be finding this more and more. And there will be through the Creator gods that will explain this to you, that it's not only in your birth process that you have these co-creations. All nature gets these co-creations. And we're just explaining it to you how it happens in a multidimensional, interdimensional experience. And so Gaia will always be replenished in her, because she has also her right to heal, and she has her right to ascend and evolve. Those of you that are deeply connected to your oceans will feel some sense of belonging and coming back to life with those that are with you in the higher consciousness states of other planets, as many of you have always been Sirians. It will feel as if your celestial families are closer than ever, and this will assist you in activating more of your Christ consciousness, more of your planetary remembrance, and more of your celestial remembrance to bring calm and excitement and joy back into the planet. Because again, they're such a joyfully excited, creative energy. They're like so creative, and so I find them as just like little bubbly creative energies. That's how I see them and feel them, right? These and those of you that are excited to be a part of the galactic shifts of these new experiences for New Earth Star, you'll be feeling and seeing much and many more of these stories that will show you how advanced the soul's progression is, how multidimensional you've always been, and how connected you are to all that is consciousness through your living world. So that's earth, water, air, and all of those things, right? The elements of all that we are. That's to become master, right? Is by respecting all of it and knowing that there's always unique telepathic experiences and energy experiences going on. So, we can just be more greater light and love. So I thought that was really wonderful. And so that was a really great channel, and that just leaves us 1 or 2 minutes to spare. So that was really wonderful. So thank you, everybody. That was my Sirius download. I made a portal for them interdimensionally, and that was really cool to see. That was a really cool experience. So our oceans just had an upgrade. So I was happy to be a part of it, and I blessed Gaia with some new species and helping with, that was my creatorhood with God, and I was very happy that I could do that. So anybody that would like a session, a healing session, thank you. So, well, there's a lot of energy that I have to work through, right? So there's, and I do have to, there are times where Source Creator asks me to be a leader, the Emperor type of energy sometimes, and I do have to, take the lead in those situations, and I have to speak as, a world leader and sit some people in their place that have been refusing to sit down and be in their place. Thinking that they still have management and dictatorship over me, and they don't. Nobody has ever had dictatorship over me, or can sell me and use me in any way. I would love any donations that anybody could assist with in the rebuilding of my path, so I would really love that. If you'd like a session about your ascension path, activating anything to do with your soul's blueprint, if you want a soul's blueprint session, collaboration session, just book it. It's paypal.me/Joanna L. Ross. And that's my PayPal. Listen to the activation with Sirius over again, because I know that there are some of you that are my clients that will be involved in the oceanic advancing of ascension. There's so many cool things. We're going to get more and more integrated with the oceans. I'm so happy. So I'm so blessed for all of you. I love all of you. I love all of you. Share our videos, please, because my channel is still shadow banned, and anything that you can assist in our growth and in our offering to creation. We love you all, and we're looking forward to all the beautiful things that Newer Star is offering us as we are offering her. In our hearts of unity and oneness, I namaste all of you, and I love all of you. Bye.